All right, man. We here. This might be risky. They had to stand P. We in the building. It's Wednesday, hump day. We back. You know what I'm saying? Everybody about to pile in. We just went live. You know what I'm saying? Most of the panel. Once people get their turn to talk regarding the topic, they can give you a little intro if you maybe never seen them or met them before. I think everybody been here, with the exception of Tamora. But it's all good. Um, we about to get it started, man. All right, all right, all right, all right. Let me share my screen for the first topic.
Yes, they got what that shit say.
All right, so it might be a little bit small, but I'm gonna read it right. So this was a message this dad sent to his son before his first date. So it reads this, right? I want you home absolutely no later than 7:30. Public places only. No homes, no private bathrooms, no nakedness. Comport yourself as a gentleman, respectful and polite. Open doors, offer to pay for everything. Listen way, way more than you speak. She's the boss. You're simply honored she chose to spend time with your goofy ass. Your job is to be chivalrous, courteous, and kind while simultaneously being protective and strong. You're a man, but moreover, you're my son. Conduct yourself accordingly. so, so that was what he sent his son for his first date. Listen, way, way more than you speak. She's the boss. You're simply honored she chose your goofy ass, right? So, my first question is this: why is it taught, or why are so many young men taught that, or women believe that they should be put on a pedestal, or why should a woman be treated as though she's a man's world? And then you can rope in this advice that this father gave his son. We'll start with Master Corey.
Well, first off, that advice was trash. That text message was trash. Hopefully, the kids. I mean, so there was a couple, valid points in there about opening some doors. But the most 90% of that text message was trash. Um, like, um, he made it seem like, like she doing the son a favor going out with him. It ain't supposed to be like that. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. 90% of that shit was trash. Hopefully the son didn't listen to it and did his own thing. Terrible.
All right.
Who hurt you?
And nobody hurt me. It was just a lot
So
of BS.
what part in particular did you feel like was trash? You said 98%. So you said you agreed with the opening the doors.
Yeah,
What part?
He don't even agree with that.
I might not even agree with that. Good point. Is it cold outside? Then get to your door and open it yourself. But nah, stuff like listen more than you talk. Hey man, if you got something to say it. You're not there just to, for her to bounce her thoughts off of you. If you got ideas and thoughts, speak up. The pay for everything no matter what. You ain't gotta do that. Ain't no rule saying you gotta do that. If y'all decide, to split the finances some other sort of way that makes better sense for y'all, you could do that too. What else was in there? She doing you a favor going out with your goofy ass. No, you doing her a favor going out with her goofy ass. You know what I'm saying?
You plan on reproducing?
Hmm?
You plan on reproducing?
I'm thinking about it. The more I hang around kids, the less I want to reproduce. But we'll see how it goes. But I'm gonna give my son good advice, not this. Who next?
Yeah. So as the newbie here, I just want to understand like your age. Are you married? Clearly you don't have kids.
I don't have kids.
Okay.
I'm 41. I am recently married for about 90 days at this point. So now I don't have kids.
Okay.
So, Poop, what's your take? Now you can address Master Corey, or you can, give your take on this. Obviously the father is right in line with, you put women on a pedestal, you give her the world, you honor, so on and so forth. What you think?
I mean, I think the advice was sound. I think the whole point of the message that he was trying to get is to be a gentleman, right? Like you don't want to go out there and be a dickhead on the first date. So what Corey was saying is like, no, you don't pay for everything on the first date. Um, if the son was the one that was pursuing the girl, which I would assume that that was the case, I mean, as a guy, you probably, if you're asking somebody to go out, you should be taking on that responsibility to paying for it. That's just the way that it goes. If you don't want to do that, or if you feel like that's not, Corey's making this face, but I mean, if that's not your thing.
You said he's pursuing her. We're not pursuing. We both pursuing each other. We're trying to get to know each other. You're
So
not
on
doing
the first, so what you're saying is that on the first date, you prefer to go Dutch.
I'm saying we both getting to know each other. So it's, if everything else can be 50-50, why can't finances be 50-50? Why is that the only?
I mean, that you're talking about
100% my way.
Yeah, I think what you're talking about is later on in being an adult, but on the first date,
it could be first date too. We could split the first date. We can't. I ain't saying we have to, but to put like a hard rule in place, like no matter what, it's your responsibility. It ain't my responsibility. I can't.
It's not a responsibility, but it is a kind gesture. It is the manly thing to do, right? If you're a person that follows,
what man made that
rule? If you're a person that follows to just tradition. So if it depends. If you're following the traditional standards, which is what this father is following, then the man should take care of the at least the first date.
I don't know who made them rules. I just do what makes sense. I don't know what man made that man rule. So I don't follow that.
I hear you. So you got to do what's best for you. But I'm saying, as a person that has 3 sons, I would certainly, I would tell them like, listen, open the door. That's fine. That's give or take. You're definitely not gonna leave no woman pumping the gas. That's where I draw the line. Everybody knows that. Like, if he goes up to the gas station, if you're not the driver, let's say this is a young man, let's say he's 17, right? Maybe he doesn't have the car to go driving. Don't let that girl get away from the gas. Those are just things. Those are common courtesy. That's not even about whether it's dating or pursuing anybody else. Those are common courtesy, minimum standards. And so, Corey, if you don't have that, that's fine. But these are just common courtesy things, right? So the other thing that he said, now I don't agree with, it's a privilege for her to go out with your goofy ass, because what that's saying is that the son doesn't have any value, right? So he's implying that the son doesn't have any value, and just be happy that somebody wants you. So I'm never going to tell my son, be happy that somebody is choosing you, because he also has value to bring to any situation that he's coming in. So I don't necessarily agree with that, but everything else was okay.
How about she's the boss, but also on top of she's the boss, because you just refer back to like what used to be, right? The standards that were set. Women weren't the boss, right? In those instances from back in the day. But one thing you mentioned was, so what if she invited him out? Would she then be obligated to pay for everything?
It wouldn't be an obligation, no. I mean, I personally am never going to pay for anybody on a first date. That's
Would
just don't invite me.
To do though?
I'm sorry?
Would it be the womanly thing to do?
No, that's not a womanly thing to do. That's a manly thing to do. And I'm not a man. Right? So that's not a womanly thing to do. That's a manly thing to do. And because I don't exude masculine tendencies, I'm not paying for a man. Now, there's women that do that, and touche to them, but I'm not coming out of my purse for anybody. If that's the case, I go with my girlfriend.
Is pulling your card out your wallet is somehow masculine?
I don't have a problem paying for dates for a relationship that I'm in. That's not what I'm saying. But on a first date where we're getting to know each other,
that's my financial responsibility.
Right. I'm not paying for the date. And that's my choice. I'm not going to go out with anybody that doesn't kind of align with my line of thinking. So if that's you, that's fine. Then this date ain't for you.
So, Caddy, just to kind of not pivot, but piggyback off of some of the things Tamora said. So, because one thing she indicated was he invited her, he should pay, right? That's one thing that was said. She clarified it a little bit, But what if you invited a man out? Would you then feel obligated to pay?
Well, I'm not inviting no man out anywhere, so that's not even relevant to me. However, I think, do whatever works for you. For me, again, I would not invite a man out. So therefore, I would not feel expected to pay or feel like I'm obligated to pay. No one's obligated to pay anything. I think where I differ though is when you're dating, you're dating to get to know someone, and that should be reciprocated, that energy. So I feel like everything should be reciprocated in that space. So I have no problem with paying for dates as we're dating. But
Right.
the first date, I feel like that sets the intention. And I feel like as a man, you want to set that intention where you're interested in me. You want to solidly show that. And I mean, move accordingly. That's all I'm saying. Like, we ain't going Dutch. I can go Dutch with my homegirls. I can
So
go,
what are you doing to show that you're interested in me?
I'm going out and attending
Oh,
a date.
got you. All right.
So
Participation.
Yeah, I was like,
do
it sound
you
like
agree? And I'm sorry, I didn't get your
you
name.
showing up. That's your
Patty.
Okay. So do you agree, like, so the first date, but let's say the first date went well, second date comes around and you guys are talking and you say, hey, there's this concert coming up. I'm going to grab the tickets. Would you like to go? Would you be okay with paying for the tickets?
Yeah, because at that point I'm offering.
Because
Sure.
you've already established some kind of boundary. So I think that we're in agreement, at least us two women, that for the first date, it just
Yeah.
should be the man's responsibility. Moving forward, I don't think at least you or I are disagreeing with that. We wouldn't pay for dates moving forward. Not all of them, but just a show of appreciation. You know what? I enjoy your
Right.
company. I don't mind paying for the tickets. I'm gonna pay for the tickets, but then you probably expect them
Buying
to pay for the
drinks
rest of
or
the night. Yeah.
exactly.
But I mean, you have no problem in it's not about not coming out of your pocket or not being willing to chip in once the dating starts. But this particular scenario or explanation example was going on a first date.
Right. So I don't even know why Corey was talking about finances because we're
So
not
wait,
even that deep in yet.
so
Yeah.
the dating starts on the first date, right? So I'm trying to understand
No, it
what.
doesn't. That's an interview. That's an interview. That's
I
no
mean,
date.
that is true.
That's an
Uh,
interview.
That's a date.
Because
That's a,
it's
the
well,
first date is when the dating starts.
it's initial date, but it's really an assessment period. Okay, do I really want to date you? Do you
are we
see what I'm
trying to
saying?
change
Like,
the name of the first date to not a date? It's a date.
no, I mean it is a date, but you're not dating, is what I'm
You're
saying.
not
Like, when you go out on
dating.
a first date, you're not dating. You're going out on a date.
You're
So
right,
help me,
because it
help
isn't
me with
plural
the.
till more than one happens. Right.
When
But it's
there are
still a
multiple
date.
reoccurrences, then you're in the dating phase.
I,
Yeah.
I need
You went
I
out
need
on
help with
one
the I
date.
need help with the logic behind this. So Tamora and Caddy, you both said you'd be fine paying for a second date, but just that first date is just like for some reason a go. So what happens between the first and the second date that makes paying acceptable?
Hmm.
So by the time the second date comes around, you know that, okay, well, you know what, I enjoy this person's company. I want to. It's almost a token of appreciation for the first date and that going through successfully.
Oh, so you
So
basically
it's
saying
not.
you don't want to waste your money on the first date if it go
So it
bad.
has nothing to do with wasting money. It becomes a point of, I just want to see where this guy's head is. I want to understand that that he's a person that's going to take care of a woman, not financially, but a person that has exactly what the father was explaining, just gentleman like qualities.
Mm-hmm.
And a
Okay.
part of that is paying for the first date.
All right.
All right. So Sean, women should be, based on what the father said, she's the boss. You should be honored that she chose you to go out with your goofy ass. Should women indeed be put on a pedestal? Your thoughts?
No. Um, no, I don't believe that there's a pedestalization that's supposed to take place with women, or a woman's supposed to be your world. That'd be difficult to put a woman on a pedestal and still take care of your life and be successful and move forward to be the best man you could be. Um, I think that in what Caddy and Tamora was saying, in a traditional sense, yeah, that may have been the case, but we don't live in traditional times anymore. And I think if you have to adapt and move on with being progressive, that comes with making yourself just as valuable or even more valuable because you probably bring more to the table than a, a young lady you're dating on a first date or something like that.
Well, you're saying because of the progressive times, it seems like everybody's kind of equally yoked at the table now.
No, I wouldn't say equally yoked.
Okay.
I have a son. I would tell him that he's the prize, that he is
Oh,
that,
so this gonna be the generation that
There
continues
you
that,
go,
huh?
Shannon.
that what?
We're rewriting the
Oh, like
rules.
programming young men and young boys to feel like they're the prize. So therefore they no longer need to pursue women.
I mean,
No, no, no,
somebody
no, no,
somebody
no,
wrote the
no,
Well,
rules
no.
in
I
your
think that
favor.
Wait,
I,
wait, wait, wait.
The rules in
No,
the
no, no,
women's
no, no,
favor,
no.
and
That
you guys seem to
the
bump
two.
that. We rewriting the rules in our favor.
No, wait. The two don't coincide. To say that a man should feel like he's the prize and he shouldn't pursue a woman, that they don't coincide. That those don't correlate to me. You should still feel like you're the prize and be in pursuit of the woman you want, but that doesn't shortchange yourself. In
Okay,
that,
but you know that's conflicting with the narrative tied to a man being the prize, meaning women should be attracted to you, be attracted to whatever commodities you have, finances, assets, whatever that may be, and therefore we should show how we can bring value to your life versus you bringing value into our lives. So
but it,
that's what I'm
but
trying
is
to understand. Is that what like you're
but
talking about?
isn't that the case as it is anyway? Like women are attracted to men for their commodities.
Women are
really,
attracted to men for the fundamental things that a man can provide, which is like protection.
Commodities.
It's okay. Well, let's define commodities though, because
Provision.
I want to make sure that nothing's conflated here. Like you're not lumping in a whole bunch of nonsense
I'm
into
just
like
going off what you said. If you're saying that men are valuing themselves as the prize, but and women they don't pursue women because of that, I don't agree with that. I think you could consider yourself a prize, just like a woman considers herself a prize. That doesn't shortchange what she brings to the table. She
okay.
feels
Well,
like she's the
you know,
prize.
I think I agree with you. I think that we're getting hung up on the word prize, right? So I 100% agree that if I'm sending my sons out on a date, I want them to feel like they are a person of value. And so if this girl that you're pursuing or this girl that you're dating doesn't see the value in you, you need to go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so I think for so long, Hamp, you had a something that you put online, and it was just too much for me to reply to it the other day about men just not feeling, not being. We know that men are supposed to do certain things, right? But just an appreciation, a token of appreciation, right? We don't. Men no longer want to feel like they're taken advantage of. They also want to feel valued, and most of the time, based on traditional standards, they didn't have that love or value tied into that. So I understand what you're saying about your son being the prize. You just want him to feel valued. Is that what you mean by prize?
No, I want him to feel like he's the prize.
so that's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think those are two separate
Just
things right there, prize and value. We can show and teach our kids how to value themselves and how to not allow anyone to decrease their value. But seeing yourself as a prize, I think that that's different. And to me, the younger generation coming up now, young men feeling as if they're the prize, that equates to them feeling as if they no longer have to pursue women because why should they? They're the gift. Therefore, the
Well,
women
I
should
mean,
So I'm a
them.
little, I'm a
but if
little,
you
conf-
think
I'm
about
a
it,
little
men
confused.
men traditionally are the prize. I mean, if you think about single women, right? There's single women, and there's like a bunch of single women. And they go after the man that has the most. So they are the prize. You're waiting for a man to choose you to be married. So
Yeah,
ultimately, the men are the prize.
I don't agree with that, but
I
I
mean,
hear you.
we don't like to say it as women, but that
Yeah,
ultimately the man is the prize.
that doesn't
I
equate
mean,
to a
yeah,
man being the
women,
prize.
both men and women can be. I guess if you want to use the word prize, you both should have something to give.
Right, right, right. That terminology
If
doesn't
you get
feel
if
right
you
to
get
me.
hooked up, you're just getting hooked up on the word prize, like, oh,
Yeah.
who is
Well,
the
that word,
trophy? Who
that
So,
word
is
so,
scary.
so if
hold
men have traditionally been considered the prize,
When I'm feeling broke, E and J by my
all right, yeah.
What?
So let's set real quick. Um,
What the hell was that? Hell?
that's make people be quiet. Um, so I just want to clarify a little bit about prize, right? I think that men do control the access to like the relationship aspects, right? I think sex is often controlled by women, but like marriage, we propose, right? Even relationships, we choose when relationships actually come to fruition. By and large, of course, there's some outliers, right? But I think sex is controlled by women, and then relationships are probably controlled by men. And then if women want relationships and men control the access to them, well, that probably would be the prize that Sean is alluding to. Um, and we can comment on that in just a second. So, Q, what do you think about she's the boss, your goofy ass? Should women be put on a pedestal?
I think that this father in this particular scenario is turning his son into a little bitch. Like that is so fucking disrespectful because like at the end of the
Yeah.
day, she's not the boss. Who the fuck says she's the boss? You know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
first off.
I agree.
Bro.
I agree with that.
Because when you even think about that terminology, now you're talking about a hierarchy. So the son has no other choice but to fall under her, which no longer makes him the prize, which also devalues him. I feel so. It'd be
Yeah,
like the girl. It'd be like the girl going on a date and somebody telling her, "Be lucky that he chose you because he's the boss." Now you're
exactly.
establishing hierarchy. So I don't know what the fuck this father was on. That's some bullshit. And then as far as like, he's lucky that she chose him. I could kind of see parts of that. However, I just think the wording was flawed for me personally. And what I mean by that is kind of like what Hamp was just saying. The women choose, like I believe the woman chooses. Because he could like her all day, but in order to get on that date, she has to choose him. Now, ultimately, when it comes to marriage and that sort of thing, yes, the guy chooses and he
Right.
has to be the one to propose. Uh, but in that initial and that beginning part, the dating phase, the woman is the one who chooses. So I could kind of see if he said that wording, it would make sense. But the way that he worded it just kind of turned his son into a little bitch. And I feel like for me being a boy mom, um, I believe that women should raise their sons to be to get used to being taken care of, like and taken out on dates and things like that. Like I think it should be normalized that at least once a month, moms should take their sons on dates so that they don't feel awkward about going out with a woman and having somebody pay for them because that shows that she cares about you too. But that's just me.
I like that idea, Q.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree with taking your sons out for the exposure of how to conduct yourself in restaurants and how to sit across, from a woman, how to have conversation at a table, those kind of things. I 100% agree with. Making it a standard that a woman is going to take care of you, not so much.
Not necessarily like take care of, but like in an enabling way. But like I think the way society has things structured now, like if a guy gets taken out on a date by his woman, he's conditioned to feel awkward about that. Like he's supposed to overcompensate or do more when he should be able to just receive that. So that's what I
Yeah.
mean by that.
Yeah, I see that with a lot of men when they receive something like a gift or something like where a woman pays for the date. There's this sense of awkwardness that happens, and that comes from men not feeling appreciated or not experiencing someone giving to them. So I agree with you there, but just it's just a fine line of making sure they don't expect women to take care of them, but understanding that they should also understanding how to reciprocate or how to receive love, because a lot of men just don't know how to do it. You give a man a birthday gift or you throw a man a birthday party, they just feel so awkward. They feel so awkward and they don't know how to receive that. They don't know how to But it's, I think
If
what
you,
you, to your
if you
point,
had showed him love and paid for the first date, he'd know how to receive it better.
no, no, that's on your mama.
You can start,
that
you can
that's it.
start
What
you
I
can start
think what
the
Q
pattern
was
on day one.
saying, what I think what Q's point was, it was on the mama to teach him,
Oh.
right? So you know how to act,
Right.
But I
It's just like when a father treats his daughter a certain way, she's not in
right?
an awkward space when she's in the company of a good, nice guy.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because they know how to receive the love and the men don't. So again, your point is to parenting, and I agree 100% on that.
Yeah. Do you think that her point, and anybody can respond, her point is also just overall conditioning,
It is conditioning.
Yes,
right? But
100%.
non-parents, right? Because if they're hearing one thing in a household, that does have a large influence. What if all their parents are conditioned to say, "Oh, you ain't shit. She's the boss," right? Because your peers have a large influence too. So, do you think that it's more than just the parents? Anybody can answer.
Yeah, I mean it's a combination of everything. It's nature versus nurture. I mean, you're raised by your parents. You leave your parents, and you spend more time with your peers, and your environment. So ultimately, that shapes you more, um, depending on whatever you're exhibiting. But typically, that shapes you more than your parents do.
Yeah.
I agree with the parenting thing, but I think at a foundation, like ultimately, what it boils down to is teaching your kids how to receive love and what good love looks like, because sometimes manipulation can be masked in love, and that's not really love. So I mean, I won't necessarily, I have no kids, but I don't believe now that I'll teach my son um how to be taken care of by a woman, per se. But I mean, I will teach him what love should look like coming from a woman that loves him, like what acts of
Right.
love looks like. And same thing for my daughter. If I have a daughter, like teaching her, well, what does good love look like from a man, and set the standard, and set your boundaries. Because I think as adults, that's what we struggle with, is setting boundaries, and setting standards and real expectations in relationships.
I think we have to be careful. I think we have to be careful with the over nurturing of boys, though. And I think there's a fine line to push towards showing your son love as a woman, because it comes differently as a father, right? But showing your son love as a woman and nurturing, but to an extent where he can still maintain a level of uh, masculinity and aggression to prosper. I mean, it's I've seen the other side. We call them names, betas, simps, whatever. But there are men who I may feel like they were over nurtured, right? So they expect a certain type of treatment from a woman, and they don't go out and get it on their own. You know what I
That's
mean?
real.
Not necessarily like a love, but uh, that feeling, like the necessity to have a woman's nurturing as an adult.
I agree.
And I think that goes back to a household. If you come from a healthy foundation within the household, I don't think that's something you would struggle with as a man. No matter
You
how.
broke up a little bit. Can you say that part again? I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, I think that goes back to the household. Like if you're raised in a healthy environment, I think you have less of a chance of struggling with, you know, being a quote unquote beta.
I agree.
Yeah. Hey man, I
I got a
appreciate the.
quick question. So what, like,
No, hold
so
on.
whenever it comes,
You can save your question for the end.
hey,
All
yeah,
right.
Write it down.
I want to pivot a little bit. Hey, that was great takes. Tamora 1, Master Corey 0. I don't
no, bro, you crazy.
know. Hey, that's a hot topic though, right? Because once you think through it, it's so many views and opinions, and
Yeah.
there's validity to every single thing everybody said, right? So what's right? Is there a right? Who knows, right? And we'll allow him, Master Corey, to get his question in at the end for sure. Next topic. So you guys saw in Texas, right? So is Texas basically pro-life, like the whole state at this point, where like you can't get abortion after what is it, 6 weeks?
I don't know
15.
that everybody agrees to it, but that's what's being forced upon everybody. Yes.
Did the law pass?
Yeah, I did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In Mississippi today, right?
Okay. So, is the right to choose in terms of having an abortion or not a woman's sole right? Do men have input in that? Like, what's the um like general consensus on that?
No.
Yeah, I don't.
What's the gen-
I
no, I,
wasn't going
no,
first.
my opinion, but the general consensus, everybody would agree. Most people say women get to choose. Pro life, pro choice, right? Men often don't have much say so in that. Is that
Yeah,
can we agree to that for the most part?
I 100% agree to that. Yeah.
Yeah, men don't have say so, and they probably shouldn't.
They should
Probably
not.
should not have to.
No, they should not.
Yeah.
Why
Okay.
not?
So well, we're gonna go into it. My question is, right? So everybody's not having sex to have children, right? And
Not
women
at
should have
all.
full say so over if they're having an abortion. So should financial abortion also be viable for men?
Absolutely.
You don't
Yeah.
have to be responsible for that child just because she chose to have the baby and you don't have any say so in that. So
No, the fuck? Wrap it up.
Yes.
Use condoms. Like what the hell?
Caddy,
You
you can
wrap
go.
it up. They got female condoms. Shit,
You
you
can
wrap it
No,
up.
cause like no, it takes two. So you about to be financially
you,
charged
you can
Wait,
go
wait. It
next.
takes
if
two to
I
have sex,
decide
but it
to
don't
keep this baby.
decide on if we keep the kid. If it
Say
take
that
two, then let
again.
it take two. Let's say it took two to have sex, but it only took one to decide on whether we had the kid or not. Let everything take two. Let the decision take two as well.
And when I'm feeling broke.
All right, so Furious Styles, we'll start with you before Eddie and Corey goddamn just go rogue.
uh, should there be a financial abortion available option available to men? Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. Because if a woman's right is to decide to choose life or not, um, a man should have the ability to choose if he wants to be involved. I mean, a moment of indiscretion, a lot of people end up paying a long time for that, and and
Mhm.
you don't get a say so. So if we are about equality and fair and equal opportunity and rights, then yes, a financial abortion should be on the table for men. It's only
Q,
fair.
indeed.
Yeah.
Q, what you think?
Yeah, I think that if you're, because I think, the act of sex is transferring of energy. So I think if you're going to be energetically irresponsible like that, you have to take some level of accountability, male and female. So yeah, if a woman has the right to say, I want to keep this child, I don't believe that the guy should have to be responsible for taking care of the child. That's your choice. Okay.
Okay. Tamora, what you think?
I'm laughing because you've never called me tomorrow in your life, so it's really funny.
I
Um,
my lips because I was trying not to call you poopy.
Thank you. I know we're adults now. So I 100% agree that only because I know through like people's personal experiences where, one night stand situations have resulted in pregnancy.
Mhm.
And so, if the guy says, hey, I'm not looking to have any children. I don't want to have any children. This is not what I want. And she decides to move forward, you're making that conscious choice that you're going to be a single mother. You have a choice to say, I'm willing to take on this responsibility on my own 100%. If the guy did not agree to that, I don't think that he should be forced into fatherhood. Now, if you're in a relationship, if you're in a marriage, if there was something else that was going on, that's different. But I think that men should have some say so, should have a voice when you're bringing children into the world. And so if a woman decides, if you know who you're dealing with and they're saying they don't want children and you go against that, then you have to be willing to take on that responsibility 100%.
Indeed. Caddy?
Um, yeah, so I guess I honestly feel like honestly feel like if you choose to have sex with someone, you're signing up for whatever consequences may result from that interaction, whether that be a child, whether that be an STD, whether that be becoming emotionally attached, whether that be an exchange of traumatic energy, whatever that is, you signed up for it. So I don't think that if a woman becomes pregnant, that and the man decides, which what we have not discussed is at what point does a man's decision um, uh, end up being null and void, meaning a man can say on day one, yes, I want to have the child, then 6 weeks later say I don't want to have the child. Does that absolve him of responsibility then? Like at what point do we like say,
Yeah.
you know,
Good question.
There's a lot of gray in that. I agree.
yeah,
But I do think that, as the woman, and knowing, I'm a woman, I'm a person who has, I have kids. And so I know for me, if I don't want to have children, I need to make sure, because I know that I'm going to be the sole provider, right? If this man leaves me today, I'm going to be the person left with these children. I'm the person that has to carry them. I'm the person that has to give birth to them. So my sole responsibility is to make sure that my body is protected. If I don't want to carry or house children or birth them, I need to protect myself. That's not, I mean, and that's it. Unfortunate. I mean, it's unfair, yes, but that responsibility falls on women because we're the person that carries the baby and ultimately has to take on the full responsibility.
yeah. And I'm not negating that. I'm not saying that it's not ultimately a woman's responsibility, because it always falls on us. But I'm saying that does not remove the responsibility from a man as well. So different
It
strokes for different folks.
falls on
I just
us.
know. Hmm. Oh,
She said it falls on us. Poop can't hear you. She'll come back, but she said it ultimately
Right.
falls on us. So I think she's agreeing there.
I
yeah.
agree. I think there's a lot of there's a lot of gray area to it, because to your point, like you said, there could have been a relationship established. There could have been a marriage
And Poop, you breaking up,
established,
breaking up.
and then 9 months into the relationship, he decides he no longer wants to be a father. So there it's
She can hear. All right, so I just muted her. So Poopy, tomorrow you breaking up. We can't quite hear all your thoughts in full. So I just muted it for a second. Give it time, and then just unmute yourself when you think your connection is stable. That's all. Um, Master Corey, what are your thoughts? So if a woman chooses, right, because
Mhm.
everybody agrees that it's a woman's sole decision to birth the child, should men have an opportunity to uh I guess commit? I don't want to make it sound too crazy, but financial abortion.
Yeah, I think absolutely the men should have the opportunity to have a financial abortion. I think, we can figure out what kind of time frame is acceptable for that. Like I get some of Caddy's points, like about, maybe 6 weeks down the road, he changes his mind or something. But in the day,
right.
you can, go
I live in
see, or sign
Voodoo.
some sort of document or whatever that gives him a financial abortion in a acceptable time frame, and I think that would resolve that issue.
Any
But
better?
yeah, I think if a woman decides that she wants to do this and the guy's saying no, like if you make a decision without me, then that's kind of the burden should could
I can
could
hear
fall.
you fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's just choppy. Go ahead, Corey.
Yeah, so I'm with the financial abortion, man, and I think Caddy was saying stuff about whenever you have sex with someone, you should take that responsibility of like, look, I'm not trying to procreate with every woman I smash. Like,
Well,
not at all.
I'm saying if you have unprotected sex,
I don't care
like
what we have. I'm not trying to create a life with you. I'm just here for the orgasm, right? I will let you know if I
oh
want
my
to have.
god.
I do family planning. We're gonna plan ahead if we're trying to have kids. We'd have conversations about that, right?
Okay, well
So
then again, take that extra precaution and make sure that you wrap it up every time. The
how do
same
you take
way
that extra
I'm going to make sure
precaution?
that I'm on birth control, you're going to also make sure that you wrap it up too. So that way we have double
Now,
boundaries.
birth control 99.9% work. So if you do your part, I
So
ain't gotta do
Caddy,
nothing.
Caddy, I have
This
a
is why
question.
I don't y'all now. You know that?
Birth control is
Right, I got it.
99.9%. All you gotta do is do your part. I ain't gotta do nothing.
So Caddy, I have a question though. Like, so the issue is men who don't want to have babies, but women carry the babies, and then there's a financial responsibility, right? So if you try to reverse engineer the problem and you take out the financial responsibility that a man has, is it because it's too much of a burden on a woman to to be the sole provider for the woman, for the kid?
Well, I mean, it depends. There's plenty of single mothers out here that are just doing a damn thing, doing it probably better than they could have done it or could do it if they had a partner or a significant other. So I'm not discrediting the fact that a single mother can do it, but naturally that's not how we were designed to raise kids. It takes two to make one, and it takes two to properly raise one, and
I
that's
understand.
financial as well as in providing a substantive environment and everything else, all other resources. So I'm just saying that the responsibility, if you decide that you want to have sex with me, you are taking a risk that I may end up pregnant. And I don't think that risk is solely mine. That's all I'm saying. I think the responsibility and the consequence should be equally shared. This is just for me personally. I can't speak for every woman. Some women may say, well, you know what, if you don't want to have a child, that's fine. This is going to be my child and I'm going to raise my child. That's
So,
fine.
so
But I'm just saying that's not for everybody.
the consequence and the responsibility are equally shared, but not the choice.
The choice already left when you decided to come in me. I
No, no,
mean,
no.
like it's
I'm talking about the choice for abortion. So
oh
the
no. So I mean,
responsibility.
here's the thing. It's my body. It's my body. So
Yeah,
therefore, I
yeah.
have the final choice on what's going to happen with my body.
Right, and
So
it's my money, so I should have the final choice on what to do with my money. Right?
absolutely, and you should have thought about that before you decided to
No.
take you and your money and shoot it up in my body.
I don't know.
I
I don't
mean,
know. I mean, trust me, I understand and I respect what you're saying, Caddy. I just feel like if we're splitting the responsibility
yeah.
of choice, excuse me, not of choice, but financial responsibility and the obligation, then men should be awarded a choice.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
I think abortion rates would drop tremendously if you gave men the option to financially abort. I think it would drop tremendously.
Can I
Oh
jump in? Can I
man.
jump in?
Yeah, let's welcome
Hey, Pierre.
Pierre to the
Hey,
show. Pierre, what's
hey, Brian.
the last topic? So, just to recap, reset as well. So, we're talking about financial abortions. If it's women's sole choice to have the child, right, and the man does not have a say so, should he have a choice to financially abort if he doesn't want the child, or does not want to be in the child's life or take care of that child? Should he have that opportunity to financially abort?
Absolutely not.
Okay, why?
So my issue is we talk about the argument is always about the life of the child, right? And then the financial portion. If you're going to talk about a life of a child, like a life of a human being versus financial responsibility, that's two different transactions. You're either talking about a business transaction where we're talking about like exchanging goods, which is the financial piece, the money, or the life of a child. Not also do we exclude the fact that we don't have to carry children. We don't have to have our ribs break and all that other shit. Sorry. All the other things that y'all go through. We don't go through that part. So it's easy for us to say, yeah, I don't want a kid. We can kill it. We don't have that emotional piece. So there's no way you're going to convince me that we as men have any say so in an abortion. That's on the woman. That's her body.
I think you missed that, P. The financial abortion, not say so.
I mean, but it's
women can have an
not just
abortion.
it's not just financial. I get what you're saying, but it's not just financial. We're talking about the life of another being.
The potential life of another being. He's not here yet.
Potential life, right? Potential life. That's fine. But
you can't separate the life of a new person and the financial responsibility. Once a new person arrives, they cost. So day one, they cost.
But they also cost before they're born. There's a cost before they're born. There's the prenatal care.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So I think for me, anyway, the barrier is like, if you're not financially, for men, if you're not financially prepared to take care of a child, you shouldn't be shooting the club up.
Thank you.
Bullshit. First off, hold up. Not even whether I'm financially responsible. I don't want to create a kid with you. We were not doing this act to create kids. If you would have told me you want to create kids,
listen, what is the primary?
When you were fucking raw,
that was fucking raw to get an orgasm, not a kid.
Okay, but and I'm gonna say this as gay as possible, right, sweetie? When you nut, like you know the consequences, right? Unless you're having gay sex.
No, potential consequences.
No. Unless you're having gay sex. Hey y'all. However, when you nut, your sperm is going to migrate up her uterus to an egg. So therefore, if you didn't want to have a child, wear a condom. But your next response is going to be, it doesn't feel the same. So shut the fuck up.
So let me get this straight, right? We're willing to spread equality across the board, except when it comes to a man's financial responsibility for a child. That's where we draw the line.
What do you mean equality? You got your finances, I got my finances. I'm gonna take care of my child, and you're gonna also take care of your child.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about, though. So we're okay with being equal across the board, except when it comes to my financial obligations.
What do you mean?
Because
it's not equal.
Because there's a financial obligation. Once a woman says I'm having a baby, and a man says I don't want nothing to do with it, and she decides to go to court, his life, his career, his foundational family.
Again, but you should have thought about that before you shot the club up. You're a grown man.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just answering the question.
Every action doesn't require permanent consequences.
I'm just answering the question of whether there should be
a consequence to Master Corey.
It don't have to be a permanent consequence though. So we get an action that has a
permanent. The fact that you know that
you know what
can.
I think? Right. This might be risky, but they scared to give us financial abortions because of the responsibility that we share. Period.
So okay, so wait.
Period. Because all I ever hear is women are super women, women are super moms. They're able to handle all responsibility, take on all things for a child. But when it comes to financial responsibility and obligation, oh no, we got to get child support.
Okay, you losing your cool points, Billy D. You ain't winning with the ladies tonight.
I'm not worried about the ladies. I'm not worried about that. I'm just trying to. That's what it is in reality, though. That's reality.
Okay, so then let me say this:
if you took child support away, I'm sorry, go ahead, Q. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry, Q.
Let's make sure we have the conversation. We got to take turns. Go ahead, Q.
Come on, take turns. Shut up,
I'm saying I feel when we get stuck on the financial responsibility, that's a societal standard. That's not rule. That's not law. Like technically it is law by our society. Right, it's law by our society. But it's not like, if you really, really think about it, what if the rule that was made said, if you have a child with somebody, you guys have to share time. Women would not be so pressed to have babies if the thing that had to be shared was time. Okay, I gotta drop the kid off this weekend and get this much time with them. But money, when we talk about money, things become so funny when it comes to money and finances. So if it was that you had to split time the way that you're supposed to split the child support, they'd be like, yeah, I'm good. I have my child on my own. I don't feel like trying to link up with this dude. He live all the way in another state anyway. There would be so many excuses to not have to do that because it's going to cost you more. It's going to cost you your time. It's going to cost you your gas money. But if you get the benefit of having a portion of his money, now it's my body and I get to keep the baby because I can see the bigger picture. I can see where I can benefit from this. Because at the end of the day, if you make 80,000, 80,000 a year, and he makes 25,000, you could technically take care of that child on your own. Just be responsible.
But if you make 80,000, then why are you fucking with a nigga that makes 20?
Right. Well, that part, that number one.
Love. Yeah, love.
That number one. And it doesn't matter how much money I'm making. You know, you still have a responsibility to take care of your child regardless. So I feel like it's
what if they just wanted to spend time and not money? Or what if they decided I didn't sign up for this? I didn't want this particular thing to happen.
And so that I think that's the difference, right? Like you can't just say I didn't sign up for this. We all know every action has a consequence. So
Right.
if you know that again you're having sex and you're doing unprotected sex, your consequences are one of two things. Or I'm sorry, one of three things. A, nothing happens. B, you catch an STD. C, you make a child. Those are the things that you go into. Like you as an adult, you know these things happen. So you can't just say like it removes the
so Pierre,
responsibility.
that's a good point, right? And if the undesired consequences happen, I would try to get rid of it. So if I got an STD, I'm gonna try to get rid of that. And if I had a kid, I'm gonna try to get rid of that, right? So I'm only here for the consequence that I wanted, right? And that was the orgasm, right? So these unnecessary permanent consequences for mistakes, I think just aren't necessary. And if you choose to try to enforce that on me, like then I feel like you got to carry the burden. Then I mean, it's your choice, so you should carry the burden.
So I have a question. If we initiate a financial abortion, what's the problem with that?
So what do you mean if you initiate a financial abortion?
So my argument against that.
If that's an option, what's the problem?
Okay, so the problem is, okay, so let's say we institute financial abortions, right? The niggas say we shoot the club up, we don't want to pay for the child, but we don't abort. Okay, cool. So now what happens when y'all start shooting the club up? So y'all start shooting the club up, and then the girls be like, oh no, ma'am, we want to sterilize the men. We want to police your scrotum. We want to police your
sterilize yourself. Well, you got to sterilize
the men. That's bad argument.
So again, Master Corey.
Yeah.
Essentially, what you just said, right? The same fever that you just gave me. Let's put that back on you, right? You just said, why would we do that? Why we can't put it back on them? That's what y'all are trying to do. Y'all are policing women's reproductive system.
No. No one's policing a woman's reproductive system. We're just removing the financial obligation.
No, what you all are doing are perpetuating a misogynistic culture. That's really what it is. So don't sit up here and try to call it out for what it's not. Like, let's call a spade a spade. Like, y'all are really like nasty, man. Y'all annoying. It's 9:30. I want to go.
Wait.
Caddy, question. How do you define misogyny?
It's a culture that we've created in our society, and it's not even just regulated to our.
Let me rephrase.
Go ahead.
How do you define misogyny?
Like as in my personal definition.
And that's the problem. So, what is the definition of misogyny?
Say that one more time.
What's the definition of misogyny?
I don't know. I can't even define it without putting my spin on it.
I know, but see, you can't exactly apply, right? It becomes an opinion, but we just got to be careful using the word like misogyny.
Would you like the Webster's dictionary version?
Yeah, you can read it.
Yeah.
Misogyny is hatred or contempt for women.
Yeah.
It is
So
a
where?
form. We're not done. It
Okay.
is a form of sexism used to keep women at a lower social status than men, thus maintaining the societal roles of
Yeah.
patriarchy.
Yeah. That's not this.
That's
How is
not
it
It
it.
is.
not?
It
How is
is.
it not?
This at
Uh,
all.
It is.
Child support is misogynistic.
That's what.
No,
No,
you
no.
no,
Child support
you
is a right.
deciding, you wanting to decide after you've done an act with a woman to take away your responsibility based off of the consequences that resulted. Yeah, that's misogynistic as fuck. Because that's
Sheena,
only something that you can do as a man. Meaning, what if a woman is just like, well, I want to financially abort. I don't want this child, so I'm gonna give this child to you, and I'm gonna exclude myself from financial responsibility. Then what?
Then,
Or she could
then,
just do an abortion.
then you have to move forward. I mean, I don't understand what's.
No, not her
but you,
getting an
but
abortion,
so the
meaning
thing
she's
is, you
pro.
you
So
can
so
say that.
let's talk about creating an even playing field. So if a woman decides she's pro life, but she don't want this life, and so therefore she does not want the financial responsibility nor the child, but she's going to give the child to
No,
you as
well,
the father. Like, why don't we also get that choice? Meaning, why are
You
you all
women
the only
do
ones
women
absolved
abs
of a responsibility that
women
takes two?
women absolutely get that choice. A
They do
woman can
not.
hold
Jesus,
on.
y'all are like,
A
Have it.
woman can have a baby. A woman can have a baby and choose not to keep the baby. Yes or no?
Correct.
that's
Correct.
correct.
So that's is not you're not optionless. You're not optionless. My only question is, which no one has answered, what happens if you allow financial abortion from a man? What happens?
Again, so then let's ask your question, right? Let's process
No,
your
I
question.
just
Let's flush it out.
it's just a
How do
question.
you abort? So you're talking about a financial obligation. There is nothing inside of you. There are no procedures that have to happen to you as a man. There's nothing that goes inside of you to take out, to kill. There's no pill you have to take. And y'all niggas know y'all don't even want to take fucking vaccines for COVID. So there's nothing you have to take, not birth control, not a plan B, C, D, what the fuck ever. Nothing y'all have to take. So it's very easy for men to say, why can't y'all do that? Because they don't have the option.
You're not answering the question, man.
No, there's no question to be answered
If they had a
because
male birth control pill, I would take it.
you would
What?
take it.
I said if they had a male birth control pill, I'd take it.
I
Sweetie,
mean,
they
there's
do. It's called a
condoms.
condom.
I don't
It's called a
understand. Why
condom.
are you avoiding the resources that are already here? You can go
It's
ahead and
not
sterilize
you
yourself, and
avoiding
you
the
can.
resources that are
You
here.
know
There's
what?
just as
Oh
many
wow.
resources for you as there are more resources for you. There
It
are
doesn't
way
matter.
more
There's still
female
resources for both
contraceptive
of us.
options that
So
are
But
offered.
stop. So
there's less
stop saying that it's a
invasive.
woman's obligation to go ahead and use those resources when you guys also have resources as well to avoid having child or children with women that you don't care to procreate with. Take
There's less
responsibility. Take
invasive
accountability.
resources. All you got
Caddy,
to do is put on a fucking condom.
I don't
Put on a
disagree with what
condom.
you're saying, Caddy, at all.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. But if we're moving towards equality and everybody having a fair shake, then I don't understand what the vitriol is on the back end of men not being able to choose to not be obligated. I don't
Because
understand.
your choice was left at the door when you decided not to wear a condom.
But that's
Or
the
to shoot the
opposite
club
of
up.
misogyny. That's
Right.
the opposite of misogyny.
Yeah, that is. And that's I just
No, 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 no.
Oh my God.
Misogyny is saying, hey, y'all can't do abortions anymore.
no.
Nobody's
Misogyny
saying
is what
that. Nobody's saying that.
misogyny. No, no, no. Misogyny is what's in the Supreme Court right now, because that's what they're
Nobody's saying
arguing in the Supreme
nobody's.
Court.
That's not what the topic is. That's not what we're talking about. We're not
No.
talking about men.
I'm telling you about what's
Yeah,
current
let's
though.
allow me to just clarify, right? So when you read the definition, right, it's not saying any way preventing a woman from making her choice, but it literally eliminates the part where men have no say so whatsoever. So I think Sean's question is when he's saying what would happen if financial abortions was now like a Supreme Court ruling? Would abortion rates go up or down? We wonder, right? Like, why are some women having children, right? Like, for instance, we talked about Brittany Renner the other day. Is fit down in that instance, she kind of used that child for alternative motives, right? So that's kind of the question on the table. Nobody's saying women should or should not. We're saying that women should be able to do what. Well, I think what's on the table is women at this juncture have the sole decision and therefore men should have some say so in terms of what their responsibility will be going forward if that child was born.
And I hear what you're saying, right? I get it. So, let me process out loud so everybody can get my point of view and see what I'm saying. What I am hearing is that from your definition, it's like, oh, okay, well, let men say if we choose to be financially responsible for the shit we've done left with the girl. Correct? Yes or no?
Say it one more time, P. Sorry.
Let men, we're given the option for men to say, I want to be financially responsible for the fetus, for the child.
Yes.
True or false?
True.
Okay, right? So when we give it to that point, we are then saying we as men are not accountable for our actions, right? Because you're placing accountability for your actions on financial responsibility, financial gain, financial status versus not even moral status versus like logic.
So let me just play devil's advocate, right?
Hmm.
Now, women have the option to choose, right? I don't want to ask anybody their viewpoint, right? But they can say if they please. It sounds like everybody's pro-choice, right? So what we're saying is women can choose, even though they made the same decision, right? They can choose whether or not to have the child, right? So they don't have to. They can potentially not suffer the consequences for their actions. But we're saying men have no. We don't. We just have to sit there and take it, whatever comes. See, that's not the
It's
same.
Right.
It has to be the same on both sides, right?
I think men should have some type of grace period. So if it's whether to the woman, let's say the woman is 3 months pregnant, you have up until that time to say you don't want to be a part of this, right?
Some
Or
parameters for
whatever
sure.
it is.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
has to be some kind of grace period, but then do you how do you police that, right? Because the woman could withhold this information from the man.
Yeah. It won't be
So how do
perfect.
you make this? How do you, if you did want to say, okay, we're going to give the man an option of financial.
Yeah. So, Poop, you're breaking up a little bit, but yeah, I agree. I think that it won't be perfect if this were to be put in place. But yeah, it'd be hard to police as well, right? But we're just having a hypothetical conversation. But so, right, P. So we're saying women may or may not have to suffer based on whatever decision they make. But why don't
hmm
we have something similar in place as well?
because there's nothing, and so my retort to that, because again I understand what y'all are saying. My retort to that is there is nothing that has to happen to the man's body once that decision is made. There is nothing that happens, right? And again, some of y'all are pro vaccine, some of y'all are post vaccine or like anti vaccine for COVID. Let's just talk about that, right? For men, we get at the privilege that we get as men, we decide what happens to our bodies. Point blank, period. When you as a man, if you're gonna tell me that as a grown man and you want to be independent and you want to have all the say so, all the autonomy for yourself and the sovereignty for yourself, you're gonna say, I don't want to do this, I'm not gonna do this, it's not gonna happen to me. How do you then get to say what happens to the woman that you skeeted in?
She
P. I
got to
don't think.
say,
Yes.
No, because
hold on.
there's no other
So
way though.
Pierre, we're
Go
in
ahead.
a situation where we both made a mistake and something happened that we didn't want to
Oh
happen.
my God.
We could both get rid of the mistake, and neither one of us have to suffer consequences.
Yeah, I don't even think
Right
that this
now,
is
you would
a.
say the consequences on me.
I don't even think
Well,
that
Cat,
this
well,
is.
Caddy, well, Caddy, on the flip side, because this has happened numerous times, I'm sure, where a man and a woman have had sex and procreation happens, and a man says, "Yes, I'm excited, I want my son," and a woman says, "No, I'm not doing that. Good luck next time." So you still
Yeah,
No,
had, you
no,
still,
Sean.
opinion, right?
Yeah, because it's her body.
It's
Like
her
I guess I don't
body.
understand like
Yes,
what
They're
it
not.
is her body, and she has full control over her body.
right.
But
Meaning,
why is it? But why is there a legal obligation for
hmm
a man who can face jail time, suspended license, suspended passports, if he doesn't meet his financial obligation?
Because
Or
you chose to skeet in her.
thank you.
Because
That's
you
that's
chose
it. Like
to put
yes,
your
you
DNA
made
yes,
inside of her
that
vagina.
that is how it is currently. But what is
That's
the
how it's supposed to be.
But what is the problem with a man saying I'm not on the hook and obligated? What's the
because
problem?
the problem with a man doing that is absolving a man of his responsibility tied to the action that he committed with that
Yeah,
woman.
you're
You
right.
know, like
Right.
just commit. Y'all want to commit everything else. Y'all want to commit to Sunday night football. Like commit to the fact that you had sex with a woman. You
The girls will
skeeted.
commit to
She
cheating
got
before they
pregnant,
commit to a
and
baby.
therefore now both of you have to make a decision on what you're going to do now that she's pregnant.
So,
And
Caddy,
if
you're saying so. Question, right? I think okay. That point is well taken, right? So you would also agree that if she gets pregnant, she is obligated to have that child.
no, she's not obligated to have
You
that child
If
because
she
first
wants
of
to.
all,
If
right?
she
That's a little
wants
bit odd,
to.
right? Because it's saying that he has to go no matter what because he made the kid. But she made the same bad decision. But you're saying she should still be able to either abort or not.
maybe to her it wasn't a bad
He
decision.
has
That's a
to.
good
I don't.
point.
I guess I
Here's
don't under
one
like.
problem. Well, here's one problem. We're having a conversation, but as soon as somebody starts talking while you're still talking, they're not taking in everything you're saying. So just listen to what I'm saying and don't necessarily stand on the point, but just listen, right? So she cannot. She can either abort or not, right?
Mhm.
We want to make sure she still has a choice. But you're saying the man should have no choice at all. That's that, and we're just
He,
saying
he,
where's the equality in that? That's all.
What equality are you talking about?
Well,
Like
if you say
that's I guess that's what I'm missing.
yeah,
Like
so
what equality? It's her body. She's now
that's
pregnant,
independent of financial abortion, though, right? So her body, she can choose whether or not to have the kid, and you're
right?
all for that, right? So she
Right,
can she can abort the kid or she can have it, right?
right.
So we're just saying, would it be viable as an idea that a man can choose to either be financially responsible in the child's life or not?
And I said no, in my opinion.
Okay, so she
No.
can have a choice, but he can't. Okay,
These are two different choices.
yeah,
Like you're like you're conflating two different scenarios. You're telling a woman, or you're saying that there's a decision point that a man should have in a woman deciding what she wants to do with her body after she gets pregnant,
no, it's with the child.
versus
It's
what
with
a
the
man's
child.
responsibility is tied to his act with a woman after she gets pregnant. That financial piece. Those are two different scenarios. Like you
Well, no,
can't compare a financial
right?
responsibility to
Well,
what a
it's a
woman decides
child,
to do
right?
with her body.
But it's a child. Stop saying man. We're talking about having a child, right?
No, you
So
can't,
she can
Sean.
choose whether or not to have the child, but the man just has to go with whatever choice she decides. Because Sean just said,
No, yeah, absolutely.
okay,
I'm sorry.
and he's saying that
Your decision was to skeet in her.
so you're saying
That's
after,
where your decision ended.
okay, and again, I'm not fighting. I just want to make sure we're clear on all the points. So P, you're just saying that once you skeet, that's your ass.
Absolutely. I mean, again, as a grown man, no one here is devoid. No, in most scenarios, right? No adult is devoid of acknowledging personal decision, free will. You know, everyone that has graduated from 2000 fucking 12 and up and back knows you put a condom on to prevent STDs, to prevent pregnancy. So when you decide to do anything other than that, regardless of if she agrees to that, she agrees to that too, right? But again, it's her body. So then you go into it knowing that you are doing something that is risky. If I decide to go and smoke weed and buy weed from whoever I decide to buy it from, and it happens to be laced, no, it's not their fault. It's me. I went. I made the free choice to say, I'm going to do this.
Thank you.
You made the free
Thank you.
choice to say, hey, it felt good. It was good in the moment. It's great. You no longer have the option to say, I'm not responsible. I don't want to be financially responsible for this child that I created. Because she didn't just create semen to fertilize her egg. She didn't just have this child by herself. Y'all both made poor choices. And then this also brings to the forefront the difference in
So
fucking people that don't have the same value
P-
system.
That part.
Pierre, I think Hamp made it said so. You said we're done. We're screwed. We have to accept the fact that the kid came. But you're saying that once the woman makes a poor choice, she still has the option to choose to have one or not. That seems a little unfair.
Again,
The ones we make a poor choice, we're
it's
screwed.
her
When she makes a poor
body.
choice, she still got options.
It's her body. If
I'm just
girl, shut the fuck. I'm sorry, not y'all. I'm
so
talking to the
it
serious
don't have
girl.
to be balanced to be fair, right? So maybe her consequences are a little bit stronger than ours, but we don't need we don't have to have balance to have fairness.
Well, then what's
It
your
just seems
consequence?
it
What's the
just seems
consequence? And then if you're talking about fairness, then what's the
What?
balance? You
Jail.
put something in her. You put something in her body. You put
N-
some. Okay, no, like let's just call it what it is. You put something in her body. It created something.
okay.
It would be different if we were having this conversation and we had to say, all right, niggas, y'all get pregnant now too, like seahorses and shit, right? Y'all pregnant now too. Now, let's talk about, are we gonna give y'all hormones to kill the shit inside of you? Half of y'all don't want to take the fucking vitamins that keep y'all safe. Half of y'all don't want to take the fucking vaccines that keep y'all safe, right? Y'all want to be all, I'm super macho man. Cool. If we were talking about putting stuff inside of your body or putting objects in your body to drag something out, would y'all still be willing to do this?
Okay.
No. And like
And
let's be honest,
that's
it
a
would be
great
no.
point because ain't none of y'all ever went through
Great
an
point.
abortion. You have no idea, what that's like, how that affects a woman, and all of the residual effects. So to make it seem like it's an easy decision for a woman to make, like that's nasty.
Well, I think
But it goes
You're a
to
strong,
it speaks
you're a
to their
strong black
point
woman.
too.
Be
It's like
strong.
how many women on average have had to be in child support court? So that's something you can't relate to. So it would shape your opinion of the entire thing. You
I
know,
disagree because I know I don't have to have gone to like divorce court to know that I don't want to be in court for divorce.
not the same.
So I
so
mean, a
so
man should know.
so with you and P being stuck on the financial piece,
Mhm.
if when it came to irresponsible decisions where two adults were irresponsible, and let's say there was a law that mandated now both parties have to pay child support through the court system or through child support through the garnishment of their wages, would that be fair?
Oh, I'm a proponent for that. I mean, I see
Absolutely.
I see no issues with that. I see no
So
issues with
40,
that.
so you'd be cool with 40% of your income being taken out of your check each week, as long as 40% of his is because you guys both made a poor decision.
Absolutely. To me, that's
If
fair.
it goes to the
The
child, then yes.
child,
So
right,
then so
right.
then let's be clear because that's a whole nother conversation that we should have, and we probably will after this question if we have time. Like let's talk about it. Child support is trash because most niggas talking to y'all don't have jobs that have taxable wages, don't have jobs that we are going to tax and get your income for real for real. That's
Speculation.
one. That's
What?
one.
I think it's a little
Most black men don't have taxable wage jobs? Is that a
hold, hold,
serious
hold,
statement?
hold on, friend. Hold on, friend. Because the difference between taxable wages, right? If you work for yourself, you report to the IRS what you make, versus an employer telling the
Most
IRS
black
what
most
you
black
make.
men are not entrepreneurs.
yeah.
Not at all.
Not by any
Most
stretch.
black most
Well,
black men that are
most
having
people
kids,
are,
most black men that are having kids are not working jobs that are talking about their wages. And
What?
even if they did, trust me. Again, I work in social work. I see this shit every day. Now let's really talk about it.
yeah.
Even if you were, they're not taking most of your income. Example, my Y chromosome, because that's what that nigga is. My Y chromosome makes a hell of a lot of money. You know what his child support was? $93 a week. $93 a week for income that totals in the upwards of half a million a year.
See,
So
I think that's a little bit of an outlier situation. right?
No.
Now,
Because
It's definitely an outlier situation.
well, hold on.
because
Let's
the
push
court
back. Well,
system.
P, you gotta give an opportunity to like us to play devil's advocate too, right?
Oh, go ahead. I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead.
The
You
Brittany
got it.
Renner thing, right? That man was making a lot of money. Now it's $200,000 a month. Does that make sense?
I don't think we're saying that makes sense. I
That's not.
mean,
It can kind of go either way. Is my point, right? So, but I think Q's point, I don't want it to be lost on the trauma going to court because one thing Caddy said, I just want to, I get it. Like, women have to go through this, but if I don't want to really run the victim Olympics, because if we did compare men to women, it wouldn't be close like you guys think it would,
what do you
right?
mean?
So for instance, men are the most jailed, right? Black men. We are at this juncture the least educated, right, per capita. Well, these are facts, and you can actually Google this stuff, right, and look it up if you want to use your smartphone to be smart for once. We actually have the highest suicide rates, right? We're just talking about men, right? Just men, right? So when we talk about like different things we're going through, we all going through it. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to point that out. But what Q was saying was that court stuff, women aren't experiencing that by and large, and it's real. Like it's really when men are going to jail for not paying this child support for kids that they had on a one night stand or whatever the case is. So I think that
That's on them.
okay, but that point I just wanted to make sure I brought that point out
That's
so
what
it
I'm.
could be heard. That's all.
Yeah,
That's all.
So what
yeah.
I'm
I mean,
hearing is
that's
you try
fine,
to
but
sympathy
they
point.
made that child. I'm confused.
No, no, not
You
the
try
point.
you literally just tried a sympathy point, and I'm gonna
Which
call it
one?
like I love y'all
Thank
all, but
yeah.
that's bullshit.
No,
If
well,
I run a red light, if I run a red light today, like in a
mhm,
matter of fact, I'll give you one better. If I drive drunk, which I am now, shout
yeah.
out to y'all. If I drive drunk and I get pulled the fuck over, guess
Mm,
what happens? A bitch gets down for a DUI, DWI, whatever the fuck they call it in Maryland.
yeah.
I
No,
can't be mad at the bartender. I can't be mad at my friends that brought me out here.
Thank
I
okay.
you.
did that.
Yeah, but
I
love
knew that was going to happen.
you're right. As did she when that man didn't have a condom on, right? Because what we did was sympathy point when you said you don't know what she has to go through. She has to take a pill and she has to do this.
Oh
That's
my
the
God,
sympathy.
that's not sympathy. That's
You
understanding.
see how
That's
it's
that's
That's
understanding the
factual.
process that a woman goes through. Like you
what do
really can't.
yeah, I'm just bringing out the points, and I have to keep the level, the playing field. That's my job. So Q,
Let's
what do
just
you think?
fight. Let's fight. I want to fight.
Well, no, I have to play it like this, or else everybody's not heard, right? So Q, what do you think about the sympathy point in that Q that P said kind of me and you alluded to because I was kind of clarifying your point, and then my rebuttal to that just now. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I personally feel like it's the same thing. Um, because what you're doing is you're asking us to have a level of empathy to see what the woman has to experience. And I was doing the same thing with men. It's like you have to have a certain level of empathy when it comes to the things that they go through that you don't have to experience either. It's a different
Like going
side
to
of the
court.
coin, but same thing. Right, because it would be like saying a guy's supposed to be financially obligated to a child that I chose to keep, right?
No,
That's what
he's
you're
supposed to
saying.
be financially obligated for a child he created. Like
That he shot into
Right.
right,
me.
The creation only comes when you don't have an abortion.
No,
no,
the creation comes at the moment that he shot the club up, and I
right.
decided I didn't want to take any pills. Cause okay, let me
Right.
backtrack. DJ
Right.
Hamps,
So a
what?
decision
Can
is
I
a
give you a
choice.
vaccine to kill the child? Can I give you a vaccine to kill the child?
Say again.
Can I give you a vaccine to kill the child that is growing inside of you?
I don't have kids.
Right, you sound stupid. So okay, Furious Styles, hey friend, can
I'm
I give you a
saying I can't
pill
make a kid.
if you were to have eggs, if you were to be fertilized and something was growing inside of you, right? Can I give you a pill to kill that shit?
You got to give me some context of what you mean.
Yeah.
All right,
No,
like
no, 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 no. I'm gonna give you the context. The context is we're gonna reverse the roles. So
Yes,
now
I can answer. Let me
you
answer.
shot the club.
Yes.
what's your
Master
You
Corey,
want
position?
you
shut up
want to
because I hate
you
you.
want to give me a pill the next day to take so we don't have no kids? Give it to me. I'll take it in the first
That's
thing in the morning with my breakfast. I'll take it with my eggs.
So being one out of three niggas, right?
I'm pro
Right.
life.
One.
I'm pro life personally, so I
So
don't.
that's one third.
Mm.
One third of the one third of the friends on this call that have penises. Oh well shit, one fourth. I forgot about myself. Of the friends that have penises on this call said they would not take any outside shit except for again the one being
That's not
actually
what Sean.
Corey.
That's not what.
It's not, but continue.
Oh, it's not okay. So if I gave you if you were pregnant, if you had a virus, if you had a parasite, because that's what it is. If you had a parasite growing inside of you, and I gave you the pill, and I said, "Here, friend, take this," or better yet, you waited to the last moment. I said, "Okay, friend, put your legs in this." Now I got to dig inside of you to scrape your shit. Are you okay with that,
What
Sean?
what you lost me, P, for real,
Oh,
man.
oh, I'm
Pretty
sorry. I'm
pretty
sorry.
much, he's saying if you could get an abortion and go through the process, because I don't think all of you guys know and understand what the process is. Would you do it?
Why would you say that?
Why would I
Be,
say what?
Why would you say
because
you
this is
don't
this
know
is
what
the
the
this is the roles
process of an
reversed.
Well, because
abortion is?
not every man knows what the process is.
Well,
I don't know
you
or
know,
care. But I do know what
You said
the
enough
process
right
of
there.
raising
I
a
don't know
kid
or
for
care.
the rest of my life is, and I don't want that. So
Again, so Corey, and no hetero, because me. Can I dig inside of you and scrape the fetus out of you?
is it gonna hurt?
Yes, it's
If,
going.
if,
Absolutely,
if,
I'm about to
absolutely.
go.
if it's only
I
gonna
Abortions,
got
hurt,
to
if
go.
abortions,
it's
It's
abortions are
10.
not
if,
I got
fun.
to go.
if it's only gonna hurt a
Abortions
little
are not
bit, go
fun.
ahead. If it's only gonna hurt a
No, no,
little
no,
bit, go
no.
ahead.
Okay,
All
okay. Abortions are more like a colonoscopy. I have
I
to
don't know.
literally put my fist
yeah,
inside of you
yeah.
and dig it out.
Can
right.
we make something that's not adversely hypothetical? Like you gotta give me something better than that.
Listen,
Corey, not
listen,
Corey, not Corey. You're Corey.
listen.
Sean, the hypothetical is literally
P
let's reverse the
P
roles.
P.
I'm gonna
You
shut
can't
up.
reverse
I'm
the
done.
roles, man. That's not possible.
But then that's not fair for you to say what the girls can do.
No, I'm not. I've
Listen.
never said any. I've never said what a woman should or should be able to do.
Reset. We need to reset for a second.
I gotta
So
pee.
P
I'll be
was
back.
late. P was late. He trying to get all his shit in. Nobody
I'm
told
ready.
you.
I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to fight. Like
All right,
knock a
man.
bitch
Listen,
out.
this has been an awesome show, bro. Like I'm so proud of y'all just for the energy. And I think the topics were amazing, but they're not only amazing, just based on all the opinions that we have. Hey, Georgie, move. I'm working.
Georgie,
I'm coming. Let me get you some candy. Okay, go to your room. So you know what time it is.
um, oh,
Pause, man.
uh, cut down on child support laws and infractions. Cancel child support laws and infractions.
Indeed. Scroll it. There you go.
Word of the week: be energetically responsible.
Energetically responsible.
Love you guys.
That's good.
Definitely.
I'm sorry. If
MVP.
y'all, yeah, accountability. Like, please, people, let's just take accountability for ourselves and not worry about other people taking accountability for us.
Founders Day is December 4th. We gave birth to all the niggas in the Greek life. But also, I want to say accountability. And as a man, supporting my niggas in the heterosexual lifestyle, gross. Make better choices. If you don't want to take care of children, stop shooting the club up.
Awesome. I think I want to save and secure as many black lives as possible, whether it's in the womb, in these streets, everywhere. So, if we make these decisions and we have these unfortunate what we would deem mistakes, maybe we could push through and make the next who you like. I like Malcolm X. Martin Luther King, whoever else, Marcus Garvey, whoever, Denzel Washington, whoever you like. So maybe that child can be that. Venus, Serena Williams, who knows? So I don't know. It's hard, man. But like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and we out.
Peace.